Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abby, and today I want to talk about some hyped books. So, what makes a book hyped? To me, it is a book that I see my book clubs reading, or I see multiple people either on BookTube or Instagram talk about. So, examples of this would be like Fourth Wing, because it's everywhere. But sometimes I do come across these other books. So, for instance, the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, this book is not super popular on Instagram, but a lot of people in my book club have been reading these books and have been raving about them. So I think hype is a little bit different just depending on where you live or who you're surrounded by. So in this video, I am going to read a couple of hyped books and see you guys at the end of the video and just do a quick synopsis to tell you if I think that they're worth it or not. Good morning! Last night I started Fourth Wing and I'm about a third of the way into it. Fourth Wing is about this girl named Violet Sorrengail. She is the daughter of the general that runs a war college, and she wants to be a scribe. She wants to spend her time in the library, follow in the steps of her dad, but her mom is like, no, you're gonna go be a dragon rider. So she agrees to go be a dragon rider, and this is like her story of going through school and all that good stuff. So the best way I can describe this is kind of like the Hunger Games meets an adult version of How to Train Your Dragon. Like that's what I keep thinking of. Anyway, I'm about a third of the way in. I'm really enjoying it. Like I didn't think I would actually like it this much because it was just so built up in my mind, but I'm really liking it, and I don't care for any of the love interest or whatever, but I'm not reading it for that. I'm reading this because I want to read about dragons, man. I want to read about dragons. They just encounter the dragons. They basically are weeded out, trying to get rid of the weak links, and they end up having to climb this crazy mountain. And that part, I don't know why, but in the back of my mind, I just kept thinking of the song from Mulan of I'll Make a Man Out of You. I was even humming that to myself while I was listening. Anyway, so they have to weed out the weak. So they're doing hand-to-hand combat. They are doing all sorts of stuff. These kids die all the time in this college. That's why I feel like it's very Hunger Games-ish. And now they're pretty much set loose into a field. They have to walk through this field, chatter amongst themselves so the dragons can get a feel for them. After they've been around the dragons, they go back out into the fields, they separate, and they go and find their dragons. And that's where I'm at right now. So, I don't know. I'm really excited to see what happens and what dragon she gets. There's a few in my mind that I really want her to get. Who knows? Who knows? I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, so I'm going to leave this as a spoiler-free vlog. But I'm also in my kitchen and I'm making granola. I just made some cookies. I made pizzelles for my neighbors, but I'm also about to make some granola, so I thought I would film that as well. That's why we're in this weird lighting in my kitchen. I'm gonna dive back into my audiobook and I'll show you guys how I make my chocolate espresso granola with white chocolate chips. Hello, I realize that I have not been updating you on my progress of reading Fourth Wing, so that's why I'm here in my bed, about to lay down and read, talking to you. But I'm about 80% into the book, and I'm really, really enjoying it. I don't think it's a 5 stars for me, but it's really up there on ratings. I was correct in my assumption of what dragon she was gonna get. Kind of. I was not disappointed, I'll say that. Now we're getting more into the romance, and I'm really glad it's not like a huge part of the plot, that it's still more about the dragons and the training for her life going through this war college. Basically, she's being trained for war. So I'm thankful that the romance is not overpowering that aspect of the story. I am really enjoying Violet growing as a person, as a character, and just seeing her interactions with the other characters too. There is a very clear villain thus far, and I'm happy with what happens to him. If you have read this book, you know who I'm talking about. Sorry, Murphy just joined me on the bed, so he's snorting quite a bit. Yeah, so 80% in. I expect to finish this tonight or the next couple days. This is a library loan, so it should be leaving my hands shortly. It's about to expire in 3 days, but I work the next 2 days, so I'm just gonna try to read as much as I can right now and go from there. But yes, so far really liking it. Hopefully it will be like a 4.5 stars, if not a 5 stars. I don't know. We'll see how it ends. Yeah, so I'm gonna get cozy and drink my tea, play some Stardew Valley, and listen to my book.
Hello. So I believe last when we talked, I was about 75 to 80% into Fourth Wing, and I have since finished Fourth Wing. I finished listening to it while I was getting ready for work the other day, but I worked for 2 days and I didn't really feel like updating anybody. My thoughts on Fourth Wing before I tell y'all when I'm going to rate it. I think that it was not the best written. I think that the enemies to lovers trope is not a bad trope. This is not my favorite way to do it, though. Like, I don't really truly feel like they were true enemies because they don't have a history. Their parents have a history. And so, while that felt very Romeo and Juliet, they never really. Like, there wasn't really true animosity between the two of them. Yeah, Xaden said he was going to kill Violet, but I don't. I didn't actually feel like he was a threat, you know? With that being said, I do think that their romance was good. Like, I don't hate it, but it just was not the best, in my opinion. I really enjoyed the world building in this. I love that, we have. Hold on. Let me get my book naked so I can talk about it. I love that we have maps, not just the map of the world, but we also have the map of the college. Like, I love that. She took so much care and detail into building this world, and I think that truly says that this author put a lot of work into this book. I wish that we knew a little bit more about the lesser magic system because, you have the magic with the dragons, but you also have your lesser magic system. And I just don't feel like there was enough information given on that, other than, oh, you can do like small little tricks, basically. Or I think the healers, that's their magic per se, is the healing, but you can amplify your voice. It's just small, convenient things, basically. And I almost wish that we had more information on that. Maybe later in the series we'll learn more about it. The ending of this book, I kind of liked the cliffhanger, to be honest. Like, I thought that the last line in this book was like perfect because I remember looking at how much time I had left in the audiobook and I was like, oh, okay, I have like 30 minutes left. And then the last line happened, and I was like immediately like, oh, that should be the last line in the book, and it was. It was. It was the last line of the book. The later on, the stuff was like Zayden's chapters and preview for the next book, but yeah, I was like, wow, that was like so satisfying, that last line. I don't even remember the first line of the book, to be honest. Let me see if the first line is as good as the last line. Yeah, conscription day is always the deadliest. I think that this book has a great first and last line. Overall, I really did enjoy this. I just wanted more magic, like the lesser magic, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really feel a connection to any of the characters. That's okay. Like, I don't necessarily need to feel like I can see myself in every character I read. But I did enjoy the arc of Violet, and I enjoyed seeing her grow and seeing her put in the work. She's not like the chosen one where everything comes easy to her and just because she's the general's daughter, she's so good at this. No, she doesn't even want to do this. She doesn't want to be a dragon rider. She wants to be a scribe. So she's like super intelligent, but I just like picture this like twig, scrawny girl, and then she kind of starts building up to be a badass, but she works at it, and I enjoyed that part of the book. I gave it a 4.5 stars. I will pick up Iron Flame. I've heard, but it's not as good. We'll see. I don't know how Rebecca Yarros did this because she published Fourth Wing in April of 23. She published Iron Flame in November of 23. And I'm pretty sure she had a romance book come out in the middle of that. She's got a lot on her plate. It reminds me of like the Hamilton song of Why Does He Write Like He's Running Out of Time? Girl, slow your roll. Slow your roll. Okay, so this hype train is not over yet. On the docket, because it came through in my library, is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I started that immediately after Fourth Wing. I have been enjoying it so far. I'm not very far into the book. I'm in like chapter 9 or something like that. But it's about a woman named Clementine, and she inherits an apartment from her aunt who's recently passed away. And she's told that this apartment is magic. She doesn't believe her. She thinks it's like a little kid story, even though she grows up wishing the magic could happen to her. And then it does happen to her, and she's freaked out. So basically, she comes home to her apartment, goes to sleep, and then wakes up and finds a strange man in her apartment that says he's subletting for the summer while her aunt, who's passed away, is off traveling in Norway. And she's like, has to like really think about it. And she's like, oh yeah, this apartment's magic. And I always wanted that. Duh. That's where I'm at right now. The male interest is Ewan. He is really cute. He wants to be a chef. Thinks there's magic in food. And Clementine, our female lead, is in publishing, and she just got this offer to basically take over half the company. And she doesn't even know if she should get the job. Like, she's super nervous about it. So that's where I am right now. I'm looking forward to seeing how our main characters like deal with their problems in their current timeline. They are currently living in different timelines. Ewan is 7 years in Clementine's past, and in this apartment they come together. I'm really enjoying the premise of this book. I'm wondering how this romance is going to work out because they're different timelines, you know? Well, I will see you guys soon for an update. Good morning, friends. So this morning I've been cataloging my library on my Notion, but I have also been listening to The 7-Year Slip, and I'm about halfway in, and we have just met the male protagonist in the present day setting. Like, we've already met him in the past, his past, Clementine's past. This book is really confusing. We've already technically met him, but it was Clementine's past, and now we've met him in her present day. So that's been interesting to see
the differences in his appearance and his behavior. And I think that really does say, like, we do change. Everybody changes over time. But I'm interested to see where this will go and what will happen between the two of them. I think that when they're together, their banter is really cute. Go continue cataloging my books and rearranging some bookshelves because my husband was very kind and got me a bookshelf for Christmas. So I finished the 7 Year Slip and it was okay. I really just don't feel like we had enough time to get to know these characters. Like, obviously, we're with Clementine the whole book, but there's two different versions of Ewan that we see, and I don't know. I liked their witty banter when they were in the apartment together, like 7 years in the past. I thought that that was really cute, and that was really building the relationship. But I also feel like she sets these boundaries for herself, then she breaks these boundaries, and then she starts to figure out that she's not happy where she is, and the only reason that she is happy is because she finds the stranger in her apartment. And I don't know. I guess I just didn't really relate to either character that much, and so it was really hard for me to enjoy this book. I gave it a 3 stars because I did enjoy Clementine's little found family with her friends, and I liked the friends of Ewan's too. And I did like Clementine and Ewan together, both in the present day and in the past. But it still was a little aggravating because Clementine doesn't have that opportunity to grow. She just all of a sudden realizes, oh, I'm not happy. Maybe I shouldn't do this anymore. It's just, I don't know. I felt like there was some lack of growth from her. So, 3 stars. Do I think it's worth the hype? Not really. I mean, I can see why people really enjoyed this book. I liked the magical realism of this apartment, and I liked that. I just felt like this book was trying to be too philosophical, and I didn't, I don't know. I don't know. And it's not like I don't like Ashley Poston as a writer. I loved The Dead Romantics, and I loved A Novel Love Story. But this one just didn't hit the same. Maybe it's because Clementine and Emma? The heck was the protagonist's name from A Novel Love Story? Maybe her protagonists just feel a little too similar for me. I have to make a baby blanket, so I'm going to do that and pick our next hype read. I'm just debating on whether or not I want to read The Pumpkin Spice Cafe or Assistant to the Villain. Let me look on Goodreads and see how many stars each one has, and then we'll go from there. Okay, Assistant to the Villain has 3.92 stars on Goodreads, and it's 186, almost 187,000. Pumpkin Spice Cafe is 3.37 stars, but way more ratings. It's got almost 50,000 more ratings. I guess we'll go with Assistant to the Villain because though there's not as many ratings, it's more highly rated. All right, I'm going to start this baby blanket and start this audiobook. Let's go. Okay, so I got about 20% into Assistant to the Villain while I was sewing my baby blankets. And also, look how cute they came out. They're so soft. And they're double-sided, so one side's just red, and then it's this like Christmassy flannel. It's so cute and soft. I really hope that they like it. Okay, so Assistant to the Villain is about this girl named Evie, and she is just kind of wandering in the woods, and she comes across this man who's injured, and she realizes he's the notorious villain in their world. And she just kind of blabs that she needs a job, and he's like, come work for me. And then we jump like 5 months in the future. She is working for him as his personal assistant, and it's almost kind of like an office setting because there's interns, there's other people around, like there's a kitchen, there's a healer. It's this own like little workplace basically, and I am really enjoying it. I like Evie's point of view. She needed this job to support her family. Her dad can no longer work, and she has a younger sister at home that she needs to help care for as well. So I like that aspect of Evie, but we're also getting the point of view from the villain, and he's like this little grumpy man. He's not old, but he's this grumpy guy, and he's like, villains are supposed to be gruff. And when I see Evie, she just makes my heart skip a beat. It's so cute. It's so cute. So I think this is going to be like a grumpy sunshine romance. And Evie's kind of oblivious. She's clumsy and very optimistic. But my favorite character so far is a little frog. He's so cute. His name is Kingsley, and he is a prisoner to the villain, but he's also an advisor. And so he just holds up a sign. It's so funny. He's so cute, but he's a little frog, and he wears a crown on his head. He just sounds so cute. Um, yes, so I'm really enjoying this book so far. I don't know how far I'll get into it. I have some personal stuff to attend to tonight, and yeah, hopefully I'll get further in soon. Talk to you guys when I have another update.
Come on.
I just got back from taking the dogs out, and my cheeks are a little flushed, but man, I have been listening to Assistant to the Villain, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm kind of waiting for the ball to drop on why the villain is the way he is, like what he has against the king. I think I'm 60-ish% into the book right now, and they did like the traditional miscommunication trope. Thankfully, it was very short lived, like it only lasted a couple chapters, and I was very thankful for that because I don't really like when authors drag that out, but I think that it was well done so far. I'm really hoping that Evie gets kind of like a chance to exact her revenge on the man that did her wrong, but I also feel that she feels justified by what did happen to him at the hand of the villain. I really enjoy Evie's relationship with her sister, and I don't know, there's something weird about the dad. Like, he's there, he was really sick, Evie starts this job, she's helping take care of him, and all of a sudden he's like going to the bar and like asking Evie for money, not to like help support the family, but like asking her for money for certain things. And she's like, okay, here you go. And I don't know. I think something's up with the dad. But probably if I find out either way, I probably won't tell you. Kingsley is still my favorite, the little frog with the signs. So, short, quick update. But I'm going to go listen to my book and do some Christmas crafting. Hey, so just checking in. I finished Assistant to the Villain earlier today, and I liked it. I gave it a 4 stars. I think that this book has good character development. I like the backstory of the villain. I think that their banter is super cute and witty. I really like the office setting that the villain has at his lair. I also really enjoyed the twist at the end. I think that was a very good setup for Evie. I mean, I can sort of get the hype behind this. I think that it is not something that's often done, if that makes sense. I really enjoyed the cliffhanger. Like, I think the cliffhanger was a good stopping point for a novel. Does that make sense? Like, I know you don't necessarily go into a book thinking you're going to write a cliffhanger, but I think that where it was stopped was a good stopping point. So, with that being said, I think that this is worth picking up, but I don't necessarily know if it is worth the hype. So a lot of people really hype this up. But if you like a fantasy office romance, this would be good for you. My biggest drawback is that Evie was clueless for the beginning of the book. Like, she didn't really recognize that her boss was into her. She could tell all the other dynamics in the office, but she couldn't really recognize that her boss was into her. The setup for this novel is that the villain is being sabotaged from within his workplace. And Evie, who's totally oblivious to her boss's feelings for her, she figured out who the saboteur was and just walked right into danger, knowing who the enemy was. And, like, if you can figure that out, why can't you figure out the villain's feelings for you, ma'am? So I think that they just kind of dumbed her down in the beginning, just just for plot, just for plot. I also think that there's a lot of characters in this book. They all have a purpose, but it was a lot. It was a lot. You have like a lot to keep track of in this book, but I get it's setting it up for more in the series. I definitely will be picking up the next book. I want to figure out what happens. After I finished Assistant to the Villain, I started reading The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laura Gilmore. And it's okay. Basically, both the characters are really obnoxious to read about because they're both in denial for their feelings for one another or their attraction to one another because of certain life events, but like it was like instant attraction. Yeah, I'm 30% into the book, so I have a feeling that this is going to be a very slow burn romance. But I am loving the town. The town reminds me of Stars Hollow. Like, even the way they described the town hall meeting, Stars Hollow. That's where I am right now. Hopefully it'll get a little bit cuter. See if there's any spice. Hopefully they'll decide to take a chance on each other sooner rather than later, because I'm 30% in and they're both still in denial. Anyway, that's my update for the evening. Hey friends, I am about to head out to book club, but I thought I would update you and show you this cute Christmas ornament that I made for my book club exchange. Just made out of glitter cardstock. And then I'm about to add this little bow to the top. But I have been reading the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, and I am glad that they've gotten over the, oh, I'm attracted to them, but I don't want to tell them because it's just not right time in my life kind of thing. And now it's starting to heat up, and I'm really thankful for that because I was tired of both of their headspaces being like, oh no, this just isn't the right time for me. Like, there's no right time in life ever. You know, if you're waiting for the perfect time, it's never going to come. So I'm really glad that we got over that situation. The book club in this book is super cute, and I am just looking forward to reading this novel some more. It's a fun setting. I really enjoy the easy writing. Like, it's really easy to pick up and read. And yeah, it's been a good journey so far. I think I'm about 40% into the book. But so I'm gonna listen to that on my way to book club, and yeah, I'm excited for our ornament and book exchange. Hey, so it's been a few days since I checked in. Last time I talked to y'all, I was on my way to book club, and that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun discussing Butcher and Blackbird, which I have not read yet, but it's definitely on my TBR. And then our sweet host made us little cookie boxes, and they were all delicious. So thank you so much. I have to put Murphy in air jail because he's about to start barking. So I finished the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It's a 3 star for me. It's super easy to read, but the miscommunication trope was just overdone for me in this book. And it's not even miscommunication. They literally just don't talk to each other about their feelings. And I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just this book. So actually, I have since started and finished the Cinnamon Bun Bookshop. Same thing. Like, both characters are like, oh, I love them so much, but they don't tell each other about their feelings. They just think it's for a short amount of time. Anyway, I don't know if I ever told you what the Pumpkin Spice Cafe is about. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe is about a woman named Jeannie, and she comes to Dream Harbor and ends up taking over the Pumpkin Spice Cafe for her aunt. And the grumpy farmer and her end up falling in love. But there is a bit of a mystery to this book. Jeannie keeps like finding things happening around her restaurant, like somebody's trying to sabotage her, like somebody broke a window, the refrigerator was unplugged, all the milk almost spoiled, the dishwasher broke, all these little things. You kind of have like a short suspect list and you're trying to figure out the mystery with Jeannie as well, which I thought that part was a little predictable, but I didn't guess the reason why the person was sabotaging correctly. So I guess that was a little twist of the reason why, but I still guessed who. I knew who done it, but I didn't know the motive. And then the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is the second book in the Dream Harbor series, and this is about Hazel. And Hazel runs the bookstore in town, and she starts finding these little dog-eared pages and highlights in her books around her shop while she's reshelving, and she thinks that they are little clues for her. And so her and Noah, the town fisherman, kind of go on this little hunt to figure out who's leaving the clues, but also just to follow the clues and have some fun for the summer. And it's really cute. I like that aspect that they are using the books to kind of guide their adventures. But again, they don't talk about their feelings, so like the whole time Hazel thinks that this hookup situation between her and Noah is for a short amount of time, and Noah thinks the same thing when they both want more. So it was just really frustrating. It's just frustrating that both these books had the same situation where the characters that liked each other didn't talk to each other. I give the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore a 3 star too. I think I will continue the series, but it's not going to be like a priority for me. They've already introduced the next main character of the Christmas Tree Farm, which is the third book in the Dream Harbor series. Do I think it's worth the hype? No, I don't think that one's worth the hype, to be honest. Like, they're quick and easy reads, but they're not what I want in a romance. Like, I want characters that are more mature and can talk. Also, in the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, Hazel the whole time is upset because she's turning 30. Like, come on, girl. So, anyway, that's how I feel. So, just a quick recap. I think that Fourthling is worth the hype. It is easy to read for somebody that doesn't read fantasy. I think that this is a good beginner novel. It is not romance heavy. Yes, there is a romance, but it's not romance heavy. There is also a plot. And I think that the pacing is done well enough that you're not going to lose interest in it. The 7-Year Slip, I personally don't think that it is worth the hype. I think the other romances on her bibliography are stronger than the 7-Year Slip. Next, I read Assistant to the Villain, and I really enjoyed this. I think that this is a good introductory for fantasy as well because it's not high fantasy. You have the villain's lair, but it is almost an office setting because you have interns and coffee and yes, there's mythical creatures in it, but they are all working in this office. So it's just very easy to kind of picture in your mind. And I think that the romance really carries this book, and I really enjoy it. I think it's super cute. And even though I read this book a month ago, it is still very memorable to me. So I really like that. And then the last two books that I read in this vlog are the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. And honestly, I think that these books are not really worth the hype. A lot of ladies in my book club read these on their own and they were raving about them, but I didn't see it. Maybe because I read a higher, I don't want to say higher quality, but higher quality. Maybe because I read romance that are better written and I've come to expect that from my romance novels. You know, examples of Emily Henry and Abby Jimenez. I really like those romances. But Lori Gilmore's romances are, oh, we like each other, but we're not going to tell each other. And even thinking back on it, it is still frustrating to me. And it's been over a month since I've read these books. So I just don't think they're worth the hype. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to keep reading these books because they're not terrible books. I just don't see why they're so highly rated. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you guys soon in a new video. Happy reading. Oh my god, seriously? Fucking. There we go. No. This autofocus hates me. Fourth thing's about this girl named. What the fuck's her name, Abby? She published this book, Fourth Wing, that, you know, her grandma. Sorry, my dog's really distracting. That her grandma. Murphy, quit farting around. Ugh. Say hi. Say, I'm looking for squirrels. Yeah. Okay, we can go down. And it's a little bit shorter. So, actually, just kidding. I think it's the longer of the two. It's longer. And I didn't expect this, but I actually really enjoy. Oh, hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Hello. Like before she's put into danger. How do I explain this without spoiling anything?